Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Dudes Talking Manga. This is a special Dudes Talking Manga and also a special event on the channel. I've never done any of my podcasts or any of my videos in person. I've never had my guest actually in the same room as me, but this worked out. I was here in the territory of Elfland, and I came and we decided to do it together. And I'm, of course, accompanied by my wonderful co-host and my best friend, Andrew. Andrew, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
Yeah,
doing good. It's
nice
weird.
place.
Yeah, thank you.
I like it. I like the banner.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, folks, it looks a lot better in person. Got the battle coming out of old Skull Knight's head. It's pretty amazing. And today we're going to be talking about Berserk Volume 30. But before we do that, I feel like we should probably get a little bit caught up because some things have happened. I got a new job.
Yeah, I know, man. Congratulations again. Awesome. Dude.
Got to put in my 2 weeks, which, as everyone knows, is the best feeling in the entire world.
Even if it's good, it's still nice too.
Yeah, greener pastures.
Growth is good.
Yeah,
I did the I landed on a big runway with commercial airliners, which was huge for me.
Yeah.
So working on, continuing on with my flight training, been doing night cross countries, and gotta say, it's real hectic.
Yeah. So if you weren't here for the last episode and you didn't catch it, Andrew is now flying planes and he's even able to fly by himself a bit. And it's a pretty big accomplishment. And he, what he's saying is he went to an international airport and got to land next to the big boys. So
at night too. It was insane.
It was a lot.
And I also hurt my hand, so it's not all great.
Yeah, what happened?
So in jiu-jitsu, I hurt this bone before, and hopefully it is not broken. I think it is, though, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to have to get a hard cast, which is going to be a bummer. But I'm kind of riding it out right now to see if I can not do it. Because if you have this on for a couple weeks and it stops hurting, it'd be all right.
And honestly, it makes holding the manga because these Berserk Deluxe editions are not light.
That's really actually what happened is I was flipping too rapidly because, Volume 30 was so good that
I think I know what you were doing.
And don't be doing all my secrets.
Oh man! For all you tuning in live, I know a lot of people watch this after the fact. If you could just let us know how the audio sounds, we're trying this set up for the first time. We actually had a couple other ideas, but we ran out of time because we were talking so much, so we ran out. But we are very excited to be doing this in person. We hope to do this a little bit more too.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a lot of plans for Dudes Talking Manga. We obviously we've been covering Berserk for many months now. It's been like 8 or 9 months, but we are planning on doing more, not just more manga, but more production stuff. So eventually it won't just be a white wall with one banner. It's going to be a slow roll, but we're.
I'm working on it. So he did see, so he can confirm that there is going to be a studio and it's going to be dope.
Yes, some of the developments happening in the other room is very exciting.
Yeah,
and then I am also transforming my basement slowly into a permanent studio. And hopefully flying people in, not just, obviously you'll be coming over like Dudes Talking Manga for Chatting with Nuts as well, for all those who check that out. So, so before we go into Deluxe 30, have you been checking out any other anime or manga?
I have not. I'm diving in a little bit more Attack on Titan. But other than that, I haven't really. I mean, like I said before, I'm still in the Dark Tower world, and I know that you're probably sick of me talking about it, but that's pretty much where I'm at. But how about you?
So I started, and I kind of talked about this last time, but started Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah. I told you, like, by the end of the first volume, I was sold, but like it took the last 2 chapters to get me there, dude. So I'm about halfway through volume 2. It's really good.
That's dude. I definitely need to check it out.
I think you would like it. Yeah. I think you would like it a lot. It has like a really cool brotherly aspect of it that I didn't know. Like I had no idea. I thought it was just one main character.
Honestly, I don't know. Like I've seen the covers and that's it. Like I try not to like dive in on any of them because I don't know. I like to be surprised, especially with manga. I don't know why. It's just kind of nice if you have a little bit of a touch just from the cover and then just dive straight in. That's how I like to do it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I really want to do for us is next time we're in person, I want us to take all of the manga because we bought a ton, folks, because of all of you guys recommended, and then we end up buying it. What I want to do is stick a stack and we just read like a first chapter and we yay or nay it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. It'd be like speed dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I've been getting
the hand fixed by the end.
I hope so.
Yeah, good.
So I've also been watching Dragon Ball Super, which has been excellent. It went through like a little period where I was like, man, like I feel like it's losing me. But some crazy stuff's happened in the 40s episode number that has really turned me around on it. And I think you should watch it.
It turned you around in a good way, you mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like it stepped it up big.
What's
time.
it on? It's on something now. I just saw
it's on Hulu.
That's right. Okay, I saw it on one of the
Yeah.
streamers, and I was like, oh, that's probably where you start watching it. But
Yeah.
I mean, the nostalgia of Dragon Ball, anything, I'm for it.
Yeah,
Like,
I think what I'm going to do is once I finish Super, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch Dragon Ball again, and then I'm watch Dragon Ball Z for like I don't know the 80th time, and then I'm going to watch GT again because I actually like Dragon Ball. Everyone hates Dragon Ball GT. I actually kind of like it.
I never really got. That's the only one I didn't really get into.
It's wild.
Yeah,
yeah. They went a little
Like,
off the
everything's
rails.
just OP on all levels, but
yeah. And we appreciate all the chat. I see people popping in saying it's their first time or it's the first time in a while. So welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
We're always happy. And we did have a volume last time, which was volume 29. And we'll kind of get into some of the some of the stuff that happens in this volume.
Meat and potatoes
with 30. But last time we both kind of agreed that 29 felt like a bit of a transitionary piece. We didn't feel like the volume was the strongest by itself. But I think volume 30 made it better in retrospect because volume 30, I guess I'll just say, I thought it was awesome.
I loved it. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. And it was different too, because we had, it was action heavy, but it was again, I mean, I say it all the time about the balance part of it, but I really enjoyed it. And I mean, we got to see those tigers, which are just for me striking on the page. And I love those monsters. Yeah. Anything cool like that. I love
the Enchanted Tiger chapter was sick. Yeah, some of the best double spread pages in the deluxes, I think.
Oh yeah,
and we can say that about everything because Miura is just a master of this stuff, right? But I really liked it, and it's always a good thing when I'm making the thumbnails for these episodes. Like I had to pick between so many.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, dude, I had to laugh. I mean, for me, there was a couple of things that made me really laugh. Puck in this one was hilarious. The one time, and you were just talking about the panel a little bit ago when they're all like, "Oh, I want Guts on my team!" Like everyone trying to argue to see which army he would go for, and then Puck just comes up and has like a bean counter thing, and he's like, like trying to like auction him off, basically. It made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, I thought the humor, I mean, action packed.
Oh yeah,
but we even got some little bit more of the world building and lore. It's not super heavy in that, but it had every little aspect. And I thought the emotional moments, which I mean, really for me, the interpersonal, like the characters are the world here for me, and really bigger than the plot in a lot of ways. And I thought that those moments, while they were still subtle and not like, they're not as intense as the eclipse or anything, they were still there. So there was like a big breadth, an array of different facets of the story that he does well in every regard. I did think that this volume was very funny.
Yeah, I did too, dude. The hardest I've laughed, and it's probably one of the hardest I've laughed in any of Berserk, is when they're like, "Someone grab a torch," and that dude comes over with a lamp. He's like, "Oh, I got a torch," and then the tigers had just like disemboweled. Like everyone's like, "Oh god,
yeah,
get him!"
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was a pretty horrifying thing because like I love the way Miura, like I felt the darkness, even though you can see it because you're obviously looking at the picture.
Good. Yeah.
But like the illumination and like the way the light hits the heads on the ground and stuff, I was like, dude, this is some of the more horrifying stuff we've seen, at least in regards to like normal everyday things. Like the eclipse is obviously terrible, but like this is in a capital. This is in a building with just normal people,
and it still has that sinister darkness around it. Yeah,
definitely. Right. Yeah,
that's so awesome because those monsters are there, and it does. It's just those play on light and the angle. Like it's just, gosh, so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, someone said it's rare to see people like Berserk humor. I mean, it's pretty good. I don't know. There are times where it doesn't land with me, but like more times than not.
Yeah, I've got a pretty warped sense a lot of the time.
Yeah, we might even laugh at things we're not supposed to laugh at.
I think I did. I think one time I can't remember what it was. Everyone's like, "You laughed at that?"
I really loved whenever the Guts is just doing a showcase of what he does best, which is like destroying everything. And the lords are just so out of touch. They're like, "I want him for my army. You shall not. Nay, will you take him from me? No, I bid the highest." And like it's just like those lords like not knowing what they're seeing. They just see him as like an acquisition.
Yes.
And to me, I don't know why. It was just they're so out of touch. Like they don't even realize they're about to die. Right.
Yeah. And then he just like, I love too, because there was at the beginning, there was only one of them, one of the tigers. And then Guts is just like, just full Chad, splits it in half. You're like, okay, all right. He still got it. He's still got it.
I mean, yeah. And one thing that I liked about this, because we ended on a cliffhanger, and we should probably address the fact that Serpico and Berserk, or Guts had a duel
Yeah.
And we know they had pillars of strategy, which
Mhm.
Isidro is like, he's a coward, but no, it's actually strategy. I thought that was funny.
I like that too because because you and I talked about it last time. We were kind of upset, but understanding of it, and that was awesome because
Yeah.
again, we get our receipts for our thoughts.
Yeah, definitely.
And
And,
Berserk all the time. I love it.
and the battle was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And
It
it
really was.
evolves Guts, because everyone looks at Guts as the berserker, but he's smart. He's a skillful fighter.
Yeah.
He's not just a brute.
Yeah, because he started like doing the jabbing too.
Yeah, we see the jab, which
Mhm.
he anticipates that Serpico anticipated,
Yeah.
the move, 4D chess stuff.
It was awesome.
But even whenever the big elephant thing attacks,
Yeah.
and then he goes up in the tower and he's pushed into the tower on purpose so he can then do the dive bomb, insta kill, Dark Souls backstab.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I really liked it.
That all of the action in it was, and I didn't think, because sometimes it's a lot on the page. I mean, I love it, but like sometimes you got to sit there like a couple minutes and look to make sure you're looking at everything. It wasn't quite as overwhelming with it, and I think just because okay, never mind. No, because once they sent all that everybody in it, no, never mind. I retract what I just said because towards the end it does get real busy.
Yeah, there's still times
chaotic.
where I struggle to know what's going on exactly. So
Yeah.
I'll really just take my time.
Yeah.
I can't read it fast whenever there's big battles. I mean, I could,
Yeah.
but then you'll miss like little details,
Yeah.
right? Which one of the little details in volume 30 that I noticed, and this has probably happened before, folks, but I just realized it now, is Guts's brand is changing
Yeah.
on his neck. Did you see that?
Yes.
It almost looks like a dice or something.
Yeah,
in
it's
different
like
facets.
growing or something like that. It's definitely different.
And Shirke is the one that noticed it.
Yeah.
She was like, it showed her like concentrating on it, and then it cut it very small, 2 small panels.
Yeah, I think it was on the left, like down on the
Yeah,
left.
down
I
on the
remember.
left,
Yep.
and it wasn't even a quarter of the page.
Yeah.
They were very small, but I said, "What's up? What's up with that?"
Yeah.
That's something I've probably missed in past.
Was it
editions.
bigger? Do you think too?
Oh yeah, it's in a square.
I thought so. Okay.
And it has the brand in the middle, but it almost looks like there's like different sides of a die
Mhm.
or something. And I don't know if that's like the roll of the dice for fate or something like that. But I have no idea what it means. And also we have to remember that an apostle is there. So does that signify an apostle whenever
Well, it wasn't bleeding though, too, but yeah, maybe like the intensity of the apostle.
Yeah.
Because that was when I keep want to call him Gangplank from League of Legends, but I have it in my notes, but it starts with a G.
Yeah, it's Ganishka.
Yeah,
Ganishka.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yes, Zach Galifianakis shows up as an apostle, but also as a ruler.
Yeah, which
So-
that was I kind of forgot. Like I thought he was just out of the picture.
No, so remember, he's kind of like the third side to this equation
Yeah,
because he has the Kushan Empire and
that's right,
everything,
They ran from him.
and he's not with Griffith.
Yeah,
And Griffith's against him, so it's like we have like this weird triple threat triangle WrestleMania 20 type thing going on. And I did want to note, Bob got asked us, said, would you guys be open to watching the 1997 Berserk anime once you've caught up on the manga? Yes, we are.
Yes,
Yeah, we're gonna
100%.
watch all of them, even the bad ones.
Yes.
We're gonna watch them all.
Yeah.
And then yes, Troll Nathan says, are you guys referring to the talisman that Shirke
Talisman.
draw?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it is. I remember there being
Hmm.
significance around it, so that must have been it. I just remember that panel and Shirke focusing on it, and I
Yeah.
thought it had changed. So maybe it had. Maybe it is just the talisman. I might be
Okay,
getting that
yeah,
wrong.
that's probably right. But I'm with you though because they drew attention. Maybe it was because of the apostle being there though.
Yeah,
That
possibly.
makes more sense. But
I also kind of laughed when Farnese's dad is just such an idiot, and he's like, "These were simply illusions."
yeah,
and I think it's Puck. Puck's like, illusions? Like,
yeah.
what do you mean illusions? Like the audacity of this guy to stand in front of reality and not accept it.
Do you think it was that, or do you think he was trying to keep the peace?
Keep the peace?
Okay, all right.
Keep the peace.
Yeah, I took it as that.
And also kind of having, because remember, people are starting to, because we see Farnese becomes the mistress of the Thorn Snakes.
yeah, that was
What a cool moment,
so
guys.
dope.
I thought that was such a dope
Yeah.
moment.
Anytime she gets something like that, I think is just awesome.
Yeah, I thought
that was very cool.
this is like subtly the Farnese story in this one, right? Because we wanted to see she goes back to her family and then she realizes it's just a place she wanted to visit.
Yeah, that was
But
awesome.
now she really wants to be with who she belongs in her real family, which is our band of strugglers. So that's excellent.
warms your heart.
Feels good. I
Yeah.
love seeing Farney finally get like a title,
Yeah.
and being the mistress of the Thorn Snakes. Let's remember this person that was basically crucifying people who
Yeah.
were witches and is now
And
practicing
now
magic.
is literally a witch.
It's very complex.
It's very good. Or it's trying to be a witch. Very awesome.
Yeah, so I think that her dad knew that he had to come up with something also, because that's still frowned upon. So that's a little interesting angle that I thought. But with the illusions, that's when Ganishka comes in.
Yeah.
And he's like, illusions. And,
Yeah.
and
He was
what
like,
a panel, dude.
Yeah, dude.
What a panel.
Really jumped off the page.
Yeah.
And
was
I mean,
really
that,
awesome.
I mean, and that, I didn't see that coming at all. But we too are, I think all of our thoughts on how the battle was going to go with Serpico. I mean, obviously, clearly, like they're all still together.
Yeah.
And usually we're kind of right, or at least somewhat right. I feel like we kind of missed on all of our predictions on this one, which I'm fine with, because we thought something real bad was going to happen to.
Yeah, we thought. I mean, remember we even said said anytime everyone gets together
It's
and then
never
there's
good.
there's fog rolling in, this is going to be bad. But
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, and we're not out of the woods yet.
Well, you're right.
But so far, hasn't been that bad.
Well, and I love the fact too that like they were just having a battle. I don't know if it was to the death, whatever it was, and they're both just like, we're gonna be friends now.
Yeah, and I think Serpico appreciated that he didn't just go berserk.
Yeah, and the fact too, we still have this semblance that Guts is still, the armor hasn't taken over him, because I thought it was pretty cool that they made the agreement. Hey, if we fight, we're just going to use swords.
Yeah,
I thought that was really neat. Like,
yeah,
I thought that was an awesome, like, this is a mutual respect, and that's just cool, man. For me, like, that's super cool.
Yeah, well, there's a certain level of respect between them. It's just a swordsman, I think. And I think the fact that Guts is just skilled and not just a berserker is massive. But how cool is it when Serpico gets his talismans back, his fetishes back?
Dude, I loved it.
And then he like knocks away the boat with the wind.
Yeah, that was epic.
And then Guts like looks like he took care of it.
Dude, so many Chad moments.
Yeah, Guts has a lot of good moments in this, dude.
Oh, he really does. That was
He gets Farnese, he goes, "Okay, let's go."
Like,
and she's like, "My family's here. Like, they're gonna kill everyone." And he's like, "Fine,
yeah.
fine. I guess we'll stay."
But like even before, like when they were coming in there, Guts just like, here, let me get it exactly right. He goes, "Pretty soon this city's gonna be a battlefield." Like that was just for me, like just cheesy 90s. I love it.
Yeah, like
and he's
Die
always
Hard.
got that like the eye when he says it too. Like I just love it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And then
Die
like
Hard, yeah,
all the lords are like arguing and stuff, and he's like, "This is getting complicated."
Yeah.
It's like a Duke Nukem line.
Yeah, Duke Nukem.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh man,
the same
Duke Nukem.
effect.
God, what a game.
Give me a Duke Nukem mod with just Guts.
Oh,
Arm cannon and swords cutting through.
just amazing.
Or Doom. That would be sick.
Dude, that
wouldn't it?
would be so
That'd be
sick.
dope. It'd be
Somebody
so
needs to
good.
make that.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than this, like we have all the battles and stuff. I'm sure we'll jump back into some of the more finer details of it. But what did you think of Roderick? Because we said Roderick was going to be like big trouble.
Dude, Roderick, what a switch. Magnifico. I mean, he's just like sweating the whole time. Like,
Yeah, Magnifico's he's a boob.
Yeah.
He's certainly a boob.
He is.
Roderick.
Dude,
What a Chad.
He's like joining the crew, man.
Dude,
right?
I love like how unaware he is
Yeah, it's pretty great.
that Guts does not enjoy the messing around.
No.
Like, and we have that with like Puck and stuff, but like to see it with another like kind of like alpha male character is really funny.
No, it really is. Like, and to him, like not knowing. Well, I mean, I thought that he was going to have a real big problem with Farney, like being as powerful as she was. But he's like, "Oh man, I got to step up here." Like, that was.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to tuck tail and run, but he's like part of the crew now.
Well,
I'm
he's
kinda liking
legit,
him.
and obviously him and Magnifico did have a plan.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I think he's genuinely interested in Farnese. Like he's a good dude. Like he's just a good guy.
I think he is too.
Yeah.
Well, because too, you see, like he's like the third in line. Like that's like the age-old story, right? Like, oh, he's eighth in line, and like,
Yeah.
I think that's where they cooked this plan up. But I mean, Magnifico's kind of a loser, and Roderick is kind of a bro.
He's kind of a Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Chad.
Another Chad one is Guts going, "Here, kitty." Like, just amazing.
Which is why I wanted like a proper adaptation, because like I need these lines delivered by some, deep voiced Duke Nukem replacement.
Like Bruce Campbell. Like
Yeah.
let's put Bruce Campbell in a time machine, take him back to
I'm
Evil
down.
Dead, and like that's what we need.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
the same kind of vibe, honestly.
Yeah.
Fit to be Read says, sort of late to the game, maybe an obvious question, but if I want to start the series, do I just Google Berserk book 1? Yeah, you would just do
Mhm.
Berserk Volume 1. You're going to get through the Black Swordsman arc, and then you get to the really good stuff, which is the Golden Age, which
Yeah.
is awesome. This is an extraordinarily dark series, but as you can tell, we have a really, really good time
Yeah, it's great.
going over this. What's up, Matt from
Very-
Super Games Bros? Let's
Yeah.
go, baby.
Go.
Let's go.
Oh man.
Yeah, you just.
I still can't believe that we're doing this like together too. Because I'm usually just here with the kid. Like I'm like, is this really like? Are you here?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
It is. It's definitely different. But
Yeah, it's a different energy. This is what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
I've always thought that this stuff just works better in person if you can.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I mean,
and
it's
too,
cool
you
that
get-
we're able to do it
exactly
remotely, but
yeah, it's
this
nice
is much better. Much
absolutely.
better. And like we got to like sit here and like go through the edition together. You know, we get to flip through and kind of talk. And usually we raw dog it. Like we don't ever really talk about our.
No, we don't. Well, because I think too, because once we start talking about it,
We can't stop.
yeah. Like
And-
even in there, I was like, we can stop. We can stop. We need to save it for the save it for the channel.
And we get stuff wrong, but like it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I just like the first initial reaction.
Yes,
You know, and sometimes I just change my mind like mid sentence. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually completely incorrect.
Yeah. Because you have this cooked up in your brain, and then it comes out, and you're like, let's put those words back. I don't think that's what's gonna happen, but
Well, that's why we do it live.
yeah,
That's why we do this live.
Yeah.
Because you know,
And
not
then
everyone's
people,
willing
too.
to do something like this, but it's fun.
yeah, it really is.
So we think Roderick and Farnese are the next like power couple.
I'm hoping, man. I think something. I
Rod
wanna
Nezzy.
see- Oh, I love it.
Rod Nezzy.
I mean, just paint that shit on the side of the ship, right?
Yeah, why not?
I'm excited to see the ship.
The warship?
Yeah,
Are they going to get there?
I think they are.
We left on a cliffhanger,
Oh, what a cliffhanger!
which does
too.
seem to be the norm, by the way. Like we're seeing a lot more
Yeah,
cliffhangers. And I believe it was Trill Nathan said that we should read volume 33 and 34 back to back. So we'll keep that in mind.
Okay,
Whenever we get there, we might do it.
Yeah.
It'll just depend on if I have time to read both volumes in 1 week.
Yeah,
With
'cause
getting the
we
job
got
and stuff
31.
this week, it was a stretch to get
Yeah.
this in, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to clean up stuff and like get it. Yeah. That cross country really, because that's what I was going to read. And my instructor was like, hey, let's go fly that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. Get in like 1:30, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's always nice to kind of slow down and then just get back with the crew and see what they're up to.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's like it's like you're hanging out with your pals.
Yeah, let's see what the crew's up to.
Yeah.
You know, and their lives are always way worse than mine. So that's another benefit.
Depending on it. No.
Yeah.
If it's worse, then you got some real problems.
Yeah, it just depends, you know.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Pontiff?
Pontiff.
The old dude that said there's
Oh.
like, my life has sucked.
Yeah.
I've accomplished literally nothing and I've never prayed to God. I think I'll die now.
Yeah, like what? I just there was a lot of him, and it was just, I don't.
But I think the interesting thing is, and this is what we've seen from Griffith time and time again, is that he always shows up at people's like worst hour and then
Yeah.
saves them.
Yeah.
And this guy is at the end, right? He's been the Pontiff and he
Yep.
feels like he's been useless as the Pontiff and he hasn't embodied it and he's willing to accept death. And then all of a sudden he sees feathers falling.
Yeah, that's a good.
And
point.
all of a sudden, like, how do you not latch on to that
Right?
meaning
Yeah.
when you're staring death in the eye and you're saying, I have all these regrets?
Yeah.
Let
let me do something on my deathbed.
And he said, it's amazing that I've been so useless, but now in my final hours, I will be useful. And that's like driving him to live.
yeah,
And like, what's going to happen?
that is going to be very interesting.
Yes. Because they're saying that the city has fallen. He shouldn't go
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And he's like, no, you'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make you wonder. And also his successor, like, I'm curious what's going to happen with that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, clearly, and he got that jolt too. Like, you will not tell me what to do. So that was, yeah, and I thought, dude, that was a hard shift.
Yeah, it was a
To
hard
him.
shift. And then it was, and I'm already blanking on the name. I want to say Sophia, but it's not. But it's
Sonia,
Sonia. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sonia. And then
I keep on
Dirk Diggler or whatever his name is. Dirk Diggler.
Yeah, that's what I like.
You know, he's with her. So it was cool to see them.
Yeah,
I thought that was awesome. And then we also had Owen pop up.
yeah,
Owen back from the Knights, like way back in the day. And he
Yeah.
goes, I think I know you. And I thought it was like a really sad moment,
yeah.
but also kind of a liberating moment when Guts is like, those people are long dead or something like
Yeah.
that. Like that those people don't exist anymore.
Yeah. And for him too, because we just saw in the last volume them, or maybe it was a couple volumes ago, them asking like, "Hey, do you know, like, what did you used to do?" And he, you know, we talked about how none of them really know his past.
Yeah.
And then for that to come up, I thought it was going to get opened up a little bit more, but he's just like, "Yeah, that guy's confused." Like, in
Yeah.
typical Guts fashion, like, nah.
Yeah. I'm gonna just not open up and hard roll that shit deep and dive a stroke at like 40.
I mean, he's already twitching.
Yeah, he's struggling, dude. Whenever they like, it's an apostle, and like his face, like, you know, so every time it's an
Yeah.
apostle, like he almost looks more like a monster.
Yeah.
In the
Oh, I wonder
panels.
too if like it must be the not the talisman, the brand.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean,
Oh,
probably
sure,
just like
certainly. Yeah. I mean, his whole demeanor changes.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's when
because-
the evil comes because you know how he was used to be at every night.
Yeah, and
before
don't
he got
forget. I mean,
talisman.
that's his main motivation here.
Yeah.
He just wants to kill Griffith.
At the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah. You also wonder, like, if something's going to happen where, like, and this is just me speculating, but like maybe he misses an opportunity to seek his vengeance because he's been distracted with the band of strugglers. Like, I wonder if that's going to happen, and then he's
Yeah.
going to have to reevaluate. You know?
For me, like building off that, I feel like he's gonna come to obviously like the crossroads
Yes.
of like what does he have to do, and then like what is he
Yes.
gonna do?
Yes. I mean, he has been picking the band at time. I mean, this
Yeah.
Farnese, this whole thing, you know,
True.
he could have just dumped Farnese and went to Elf Islands and get Casca
Yeah.
back and all this stuff. And he said, no, he needed Farney.
Yeah,
You know, he said, are you going to get her? Yes. What are you going to do? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit.
he's getting her though.
He really doesn't, you know, but he does embody agency in the series. So
Mhm.
it's going to make sense that he doesn't even know what he's going to do. You know, he's going to decide in the moment or whatever.
Yeah.
Yu says, and if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. Yui says, did you guys already buy Berserk Deluxe Volume 11?
Funny you just mentioned that.
I have. Andrew hasn't. He's
I know,
a
I just did.
fake fan confirmed.
I just did before.
Fake fan confirmed.
I just did it. Amazon. I'll
This
show
is
you the
his
receipt.
last time on the podcast.
He's taking the banner down and everything.
I said,
Turning in my mic. I'm
this
out.
is absurd.
I didn't have it ordered, but I did order it mere moments ago.
Yes.
So I don't have it in hand though. But
Yes.
yeah,
So
excited.
we're very excited. I felt like this volume was fast because there
I
was
did
so
too.
many double action panels
Yes.
and not as much dialogue
Mm-mm.
as we
Yeah,
have
there's
had.
not nearly as much dialogue. Yeah, it was
Way less exposition.
which I think is nice too. And I almost feel like it's like flip flop each time. It's like that. There's not one that is like double action usually, unless it's a cliffhanger to go into the
Yes.
action, and then I think it trickles into more dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
Is what I've seen with the pattern, but I might also be completely wrong. But
No, I would say that that's correct.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
that rolls into that balance thing again.
Yeah. Yeah. And this one was awesome. I thought that this is one of the better volumes. And it made 29 better in retrospect,
I
which
agree.
I kind of knew. Like, you have to do
Yeah.
the legwork somewhere.
Sure.
So
Yeah, you can't be a million miles an hour. We say that time and time again. You
Yeah.
can't. It would just be overwhelming.
it would be very overwhelming,
I mean-
especially in a series with this where like the lore is pretty dense at a certain
Yeah.
point. Like, we've come a long way, and now we're
Yeah.
seeing reoccurring characters. Like, I'll be honest, like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Owen was at the forefront of my mind. I'm like, who's this bowl cut looking motherfucker? You know, like who is this? Who is this square?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have. Like, if they didn't say who he was, I would have just been like, I just another townsfolk.
Yeah, Miura helped us out. He gave us a little breadcrumb, like, "Oh, you remember me? Of course, I'm Owen."
I'm glad he does that though. Like, that's pretty awesome. 'Cause sometimes, like
Yeah.
in books and certain things, you're like, do I recognize him?
In
But
books, I don't like it.
you
In
don't
books,
like
I
it?
like to drown.
Really?
But in manga, for some reason, I think it's just because there's
Just
so many like
visual
miniature
aspect of
arcs
it.
and miniature episodes
Mm,
that I like to have my memory jogged.
yeah,
Especially in this, like, there's a lot of named
there
characters.
is.
So I appreciate the the kind of the reminder in this, but in books, I like to drown.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, too, I think because there are so many big, like, I mean, what we had, like the Holy, the Black Rhino Knight, like you have all these factions, and you're like, do I need to remember these? And then some of them that are like Owen, like, I mean, I wouldn't.
And also, Owen's a pretty unremarkable, a good name,
Yeah.
but it's unremarkable
yeah,
for the most part.
nah, that's true. I mean, when we have like Wild as a name, for instance.
Miss Wild. Who do you miss more, Judo or Wild?
Oh, come on. Judo, bro. Come on.
It's pretty easy. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
Wild was pretty wild. But
God damn it! I'm glad this is
see
your
what I
last
did there?
episode.
guys? Yeah.
Glad it's your last episode. God damn it!
It was nice, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, we get Farnese back. She chooses to go with the band, realizes this is a place she just wanted to visit. Clearly, more people are aware because I've been kind of saying eventually Guts will become an enemy of the state.
Yes.
Is kind of what I feel. Now it's weird because the Kushan Empire though is like the main enemy for the Lords right now, but we get more of that.
Mhm.
There is a war being waged now. They had a declaration of war. Kanishka
Literally,
was
yeah.
there. It's pretty intense, right? Like, it's not going to be illusions. They're going to be
No.
hit with reality pretty hard. So we have all that going on. We're going to be getting on the warship and we're going to be dipping, which I thought it was like, honestly, Roderick being like, screw these people.
Yeah.
I don't have to be here.
Yeah, I was
like, oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, that's what like, he's the bro, man.
Yeah, I mean, it does make you wonder, like,
Yeah,
is that the right thing to do? It's not their fight, though.
No, it's not. Well, and again, too, I kind of want to see what's going to happen with that family, too, because like they all wanted him. So, but them leaving, too. Yeah, I'm more interested to see what like Magnifico is going to do, because I feel like he's going to be like, now he's going to be the outcast, because we've had that divide with Farneo and Serpico, like all of them, like we're kind of like, do they belong, do they not belong? But now they're all together, Roderick's together, and now Magnifico, who was already the outcast, who had his his band with Roderick, now he's kind of going to be on the outside looking in, and
he's going to be in
there
trouble.
Sweating.
Oh, dude. I actually just remembered a part that I laughed so hard at. Whenever like Magnifico was like he's like announcing that Roderick and Farney are going to get engaged, and like it just like doesn't work. He's like, Farney, and then like she's just not there, and she's in the crowd looking for Serpico. I thought that was so funny.
He just like fell flat.
And he had big sweat drops, like
constantly. I don't know how Miura always has people sweating. Like if they're just like a slimy, like just like mouth breathing, sweaty, just like
I absolutely love that moment. And Magnifico is a good side character, like a really good side character.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen on this warship.
Yeah.
And then we're off to Elfland.
We haven't really seen a battle on, like, I mean, we've seen like water-based battles, but we haven't seen like any type of naval fights, which is going to be kind of interesting. Plus, and we got to think too, all of that evil manifests from the, like they say, like surrounding water.
Yeah.
So like, God, that's going to be a rough trip.
Yeah, there's some ominous stuff when it comes to water, like when they're walking on the beach, and that's whenever like Guts takes the hat. But like, remember, like looking out there and they're postulating about like what's out there, and we know that there's a lot of the seafaring Kushin.
Yeah,
and they're led by Ganishka. So
I mean, how there's like that I forget, the little like frog looking emu.
Yeah.
That was water based. I mean, the other one was a damn whale. So like all like all this stuff is water based, and they're gonna be on hopefully a good warship. But that's gonna be interesting. I think that's gonna be some intense battles. Yeah, and Roderick kind of said, "Hey, this is a warship. Yeah, like this isn't Carnival Cruise, this ain't Royal Caribbean. It's a warship. It's gonna be rough for the ladies and the children." And they're like, "Oh, perfect. That's what we wanted." Yeah, he's like. And again, I love the nods, because I didn't see that from him. Like I would have never guessed that that's how he was going to react. Yeah, I agree. Gaston. Yeah, I think that I think we're in for a good time with the next volume. Yeah. And then we kind of got. I mean, it's a little bit of a cliffhanger. He's like, well, we got to wrap this up quick, and then the volume's now. I wonder too. Maybe they can tell us with the deluxe edition. I thought that was awesome, because you have Guts like getting in the fight, and then he doesn't let the armor take over, and then the next page after is, we got to get out of here, is just the panel of in color, like they have this art of him in the armor. Oh yeah, it's the cover art. Oh, so it's the cover art for volume 28. Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay, but for me, I thought that was an awesome, like, it's a good reminder. It just so it's always lurking. Yeah, it just so happened to be like that. So, okay, that's fair. Yeah, I guess it would be the cover art. But I thought that was pretty a cool way to like, we got to get out of here. I haven't let it come over, and then yeah. I thought that was pretty awesome. There's been a lot happening in the last 3, especially with like Guts and his leveling up. So we're going to see where it kind of goes. And I'm curious to see, like, Farnese's the mistress of the thorn snakes now, which those things were cool as hell. They were cool. I think like 2 shirts, like, I have this one. I have a bag of these. Yeah, I got a little bag of snakes here. I mean, I wouldn't take a random bag from a witch, but whatever. You got what you got to do. I mean, if she gave you a controller for it, yeah, times are tough. Does it come with double A's? I mean, so I think this next edition is going to be really cool to see where we're going to go into uncharted territories, and hopefully get to the ship, and then we're off to Elfland at some point. They're going to get diverted. They're going to get diverted. Yeah, it's going to happen. And I imagine, we did have the pirate stand-in guy. Remember Isidro down at the docks? Yeah. We're going to see him again. I think you're right. Yeah, I think we'll see him again for sure. I don't think so. What do you think that is Elfhelm or whatever it's going to look like? Like, do you think it's going to be like fairy-y, or do you think it's going to be like hell.
Well, someone did. I think it was a joke, but they kind of said like it's like the island of hell or something in this. Or they alluded to it not being good.
See, that's what I thought. So like,
but I think it was a joke.
Yeah, I don't know. My prediction is it's not going to be what
they think it.
Yeah.
I could see it being
like it's
sacked.
not all unicorn.
Has Griffith been there? Has Griffith already came and laid waste or something?
No.
Like,
oh God.
Yeah, that's the biggest moment still, right? And then we have to see if Casca's going to decide for herself to want to be who she is, right? So we got a lot to look forward to when it comes to future editions. I'm really, really excited to get caught up and then be with all of you who are caught up, and we're going to be reading chapter by chapter as they get released. So I think that's going to be really fun. Overall, what would you say was your favorite piece of this volume?
I mean, it was inadvertent, and I think I just talked about it. I would say I have a couple things. I loved all the Chad moments with Guts because we haven't had as many, and we just had a bunch of that.
Yeah,
I really liked the art on the tiger, and I've said it a couple of times. But for me, like that last thing, and I guess whatever, I read it as purposeful, but it was the cover art of it saying, hey, I didn't let. And I love that whole idea that like Guts is still controlling the fact that he's not letting the armor take over.
Yeah.
And then it just says like, we got to get out of here. And then it shows him with that armor.
Yeah.
With the background. I just thought that was for me. I love that. What about you?
I would say Divine Revelation with the Pontiff, like that panel of him, Divine Revelation. Like I thought that was pretty dope. Yeah. But I actually loved when Guts was pushed into the tower on purpose so he could jump off the top and then like just absolutely like critically hit the elephant. That's probably my favorite part. But overall, the most impactful piece was probably Mistress of the Thorn Snakes, like Farney getting that and becoming a witch. And it's like, who are these people? Right? Like if you were asked like, who are you? Yeah. Like we knew you were like travelers, but this is ridiculous. I thought that was great. Yeah. And I'm really, really excited. So we'll be jumping into Berserk Deluxe Edition 11 after this.
Yeah.
And we'll have 3. So that's about 6 weeks. And then we'll be having to read them online or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the next Deluxe Edition comes out till like November.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see what we do when we get caught up.
Yeah, I hope it's not like the old AIM chats of wanting like WrestleMania. No. Not to put that out there, but like Undertaker just came in. Are you serious? Like, no, you idiot.
Yeah, so we used to, we weren't able to watch wrestling pay-per-views back in the day. So in the AOL days, we would be sitting there chatting to people, and they would just lie about what was happening in the event. And as kids, we were like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And they'd be like, "No, idiot." And we're like, "Oh man."
So we say a couple other things towards like 12-year-olds trying to figure out what Stone Cold Steve Austin's up to.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out like where we're going to read it at, especially when we get to like the chapters that are being translated by like fans.
Yeah,
which I believe is the case right now. So
well, I mean, I'm sure that we got a great group on here. I'm sure somebody will have some insight for us. So or weigh in, or maybe even be able to translate them. Because, my Japanese is a little rusty,
just a bit,
by that.
Yeah. Trill Nathan says ominous stuff with water. Yep. Miura often connects the astral world to water in passing. Yeah. And that's kind of what I remember from the beach. The word Miura used for idea in Idea of Evil apparently translates to the origin and the context of water, specifically referring to primordial water, the giant ocean billions of yo where life came from. Probably billions of years ago.
Oh yeah,
I got you. Yeah,
years old maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. I mean, it's also interesting because when you look at evolution, we came from water too. So I think there's going to be a lot of play with that. Miura is he's clever and he's very sharp. Yeah. Clearly, super duper intelligent as well. So
yeah, and I do love too, like with that, like what you just said about like came from what, like so much into everything. Chemistry, science, history, like it's all purposeful, it's all thought out, man. It's just like the complexity of his mind, man. Just
it's like really a magnum opus type work.
Yeah.
Where like you couldn't really imagine him being like he's tackling everything in one series and doing it rather well, in my opinion, and pretty elegantly. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. And for someone else like carry the torch too. I'm excited too, like to see how that transition is going to go.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of the illustrations of the characters and it does look different, but it's not bad by any means.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I think the art's still great. At least from what I've seen. I've stayed away because I don't want to see spoilers or anything.
Yeah. Well, hopefully too, because like even when someone continues to take someone's work on, For me, I would rather see their take on it with a little bit of differentiation.
Yeah.
I mean, because people can, I'm sure, copy exactly how he was drawn, and I mean, there's all kind of tools that they can do. But I like the fact that they put their own artistic spin on it a little bit. Not if it's not like it still has to stay true to the original, but I like to see that. I mean, for me, that's
no, I agree. And honestly, you're never going to fool anybody.
No,
like he's rest in peace. He's gone.
Yeah.
So, we know like you're not going to fool anybody.
Exactly.
So you might as well just do it the best you can.
Yep.
And we know it's a different era. It's a whole different thing, and hopefully still maintaining the spirit of the work and of the art.
I would say,
which from what I know and what I've heard,
what people have told us on here too, I mean,
seems very positive.
Yeah.
So we're excited to keep going on. Any hopes for the next volume?
Hopes? Maybe like hopes of things not happening. I would say more so. I don't have a lot of great hopeful feelings, unfortunately, for what's going to happen. I just hope. I would say my biggest hope is that I like what happens with Casca, whatever the decision is. Like, I just hopefully
I wouldn't count on that.
Nah, I know. Again, that's why I said like it's a pipe dream.
Yeah, and it'll be a while, I think, till we get that.
Yeah,
I think that'll probably be more like where they're at now, if I had to guess.
Ah.
My number one hope, I want my boy Skull Knight here. I want Mr. Skull Knight in the next volume. Anytime we get a volume, I can't give it 5 stars if it doesn't have Skull Knight. I just can't.
You do love Skull Knight.
Oh, I love Skull Knight.
Yeah,
he's the best character.
He's awesome.
He's the best.
You're so much better at pointing. Like that's probably practice. Like when I point to something on camera, I'm like, "Yeah, it's over. Yeah, over here." Like
I've done this so often now.
I was like, "Man, that's impressive."
I work in reverse.
Yeah, that was right on. I would have like pointed out there. Like
yeah. Well, I think that about wraps up volume 30. It went by quick, and this is a little bit even shorter than we usually do, but like it was just a lot of fast-paced stuff, a lot of big payoffs, which was great. And now kind of the next chapter beginning, and we have a new member with Roderick, and I'm excited to see where he goes. I'm very curious if you folks enjoyed having us in the same room. Let me know down in the comments below.
Yeah, please do.
And I really feel we have someone at a request. Matt on Book says, as someone who's never really read manga, can you guys sell me on Berserk? So I'm only going to sell you if you really enjoy very grim and dark fantasy.
Yeah.
But what I would say about Berserk, and this is outside of manga, this is just in storytelling. And that's why this is kind of like what got me into, we'll say manga, but really drawn towards Berserk is storytelling of it. Miura has, without a doubt, one of the most unique mindsets when it comes to approaching a variety of topics on what it means to be human, what it means to have trauma, and what it means to live with that trauma. Yes. And then even a bigger theme about that is agency versus determinism. Yeah. And when there's no answers in Berserk. He poses questions and then lets the reader answer them. And I think that is one of the most powerful things an artist can do. Instead of being heavy-handed with this is what is right and this is what is wrong, it is up to the reader to then decide what is right, what is wrong. Do we have agency? These are big questions. And I think that it actually, in a very interesting way, is something you can apply to your daily life. So I just think Berserk's a wonderful story. It has some of the most heart-wrenching moments I've ever read. And it is not for the weak of heart. I mean, it has a lot of really traumatic stuff in it that I think a lot of people could find difficult to read. But I also know people who have gone through these type of traumas that have latched onto this, and it's actually helped them move on. And maybe not move on is the right word, but to deal and to struggle on. And that's really kind of what Berserk is. It's about the struggle. And it's one of the best interpersonal connections between characters I've ever seen. Guts is such a complex character in many, many, many ways. And it also kind of tackles like masculinity in a weird way that I also think is really, really special, especially for when he started the story. It's not something that you were seeing, at least in fantasy, because I mainly read fantasy books. And it just gives a really unique perspective. And Miura, in my opinion, is a genius and a phenomenal artist. So
damn. Dude, I got chills. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally nailed it.
Yeah.
I was just going to go, the art's good.
Well, and that is the other thing. Like, it is also just kind of dope. Yeah. Like, it honestly is just really, really awesome. I draw a lot of similarities between Malazan gives me the vibes, and so does the Song of Ice and Fire. But one of the big ones is R. Scott Baker's stuff. I think that he does fantasy in a way that kind of feels like this. Also, Richard K. Morgan's The Steel Remains reminds me of this series. Dark Souls, if you're into those games, this is for you. But yeah, and the reason why I say all these things is because like I genuinely love Berserk. Like it's one of my favorite stories of all time now. And whether or not it's a manga or a book, it doesn't really matter. It's just great storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the medium is, it just is. It's just powerful.
Yeah.
And to, I mean, just to double down on what you said about like you answer it, you take it for what it is for you, and you make it your own. Like it's not force fed to you. It is here, you know, laid out for you, and then do with it what you will. You know, accept it, don't accept it. You know, it can help you work through stuff. Honestly, like sometimes you read it, you're like, man, like they can go through this. I can, you know, it just to relate that to your everyday life. Like for me, I've never even had any type of like book, anything like that has went through that many levels of trauma, of you know, just bad days. I guess like anything that. You know, they can struggle on, you can struggle on. So, I mean,
it's triumph. It's triumph over trauma.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The thematic value of this work is exactly why we read fiction.
Yeah.
Is why fiction is very valuable, and is actually, in my opinion, like integral to the fabric of society and the people who are producing the art. I think it speaks to like generations, and it can transcend. And I think Berserk will always be a topic of discussion in this form of medium and storytelling because of just how broad it is. And it's also just kind of fun. Like it's really badass. Like we're talking about all the dark and the dingy, but like one thing I will say is be patient with it if you're picking up Berserk for the first time, because I really feel like there are times where you might say, oh, this is formulaic or this is episodic, but like I promise you there's more going on than you're realizing. And it's worth it. It's really, really worth it. So be patient with it.
And I think too, like you could just take it at a broad stroke and it's pictures and
that's
it's words.
That's right.
Yes. So like that again, like you can dive as deep as you want, and you can stay on the surface if you want to. Like you can enjoy it however you want. And even too, I'm excited to see on like what to reread. Like how much. And I mean, we're already diving deep. So like we're gonna like really get like the scuba gear out, and like we're gonna go, you know, we're going into the depths whenever we go through it next time, I think. So I mean, that was for me because I sent it to, you know, I was telling you about a friend of mine. They just had knee surgery, and you know they were laid up, and he's been like, oh man, you know, I would like to read something. I'm like, give Berserk a try, and then he loved it, and I just, you know, kept firing it to him, and that's what you know, we kind of have little dialogue about it as well. He's like, man, I love, because he would, you know, we all kick around ideas like, hey, what does this mean? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? And he actually kind of brought that up to me. He's like, man, I appreciate that you could just be. It's a picture book. I mean, I'm not to.
No,
I mean, that's,
I know
you know, I'm not,
I know
you know, being disrespectful, but it could be for someone.
Yeah.
So it is whatever you want it to be.
You could just have thrills and kills.
Yeah.
Or you can take something home from it.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to you. It can be both be a McDonald's double cheeseburger and a Gordon Ramsay gourmet. It's really what you want. And that's one of the things I really also loved about Malazan, is that Malazan in a lot of ways can also be that.
Yeah.
Kay says, what you said about masculinity, if you do read Fist of the North Star, it's also very good at that. It's also known for its hyper violence, but there aren't many stories that have men cry openly. I know Fist of the North Star was really kind of transformative for manga in the West. At least that's what I've been told. And also those covers are sick. That's one I really want to read. I've heard it's a little bit more, I don't want to use the word basic, but it's a little bit more streamlined than like something like Berserk. But I would love to read that just based on the covers. They're sick.
I haven't seen them.
Oh, they look so cool. We'll go check it out at the store.
Yeah, that's where we're headed.
We've just been drinking coffee all day, and I'm
we sure have.
Guys, I'm at like a fucking pin. Right? Like I am tuned up. Right.
I was like, hey man, have you ever French press coffee? He's like, oh no, I haven't. I'm like, all right, good. And then we were drinking cold brew, and your wife's like, hey, you guys just had French press. Why are you drinking a cold brew too? I was like, we gotta get juiced up for Dudes Talking Manga.
I feel like we should. I wish we would have brought your new puppy in.
You want me to grab him?
Yeah, why not?
Right,
and I'll say
he might be sleeping. I think Kelsey.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a bonus, but we gotta
give the people what they
get the people what they want. But yeah, you know, for someone who is trying to get into manga, and Matt on Books, you're the one that asked it. Knowing you and your taste, I think that Berserk could really work for you. I would advise patience at some points. Black Swordsman arc gets kind of a bad rap. I've seen people say just get through it. But like ultimately, when I think about it, I had a good time. Like it gave me Witcher vibes in a way. And then after that, you start to see the glory that is Berserk. And I've gotten probably no less than 10 people into manga that have never read it. and they're now like on Berserk Deluxe 10. So I do want to introduce everyone to if you are on the video right now, you're not just listening, we have the new mascot for Dudes Talking Manga, and this is Dozer. It's a little Frenchie. Everyone welcome the new struggler. He's great.
He is struggling right now because he just woke up. But
yeah, and we're going to take him to the bookstore, and we're going to go look at Fist of the North Star because Andrew's never seen it, and he would love it. Yeah, I think.
I'm excited.
Yes. Oh, very cool. Black Swordsman is in the vein of pulp stories like Conan and Elric. I love that. Yeah. And also Kay says, we're talking about the Fist of the North Star, said the beginning is basic, but one of Kenshiro's brothers are introduced. It gets way more interesting and the antagonists get way more complex. I love to hear that. And I know that manga tends to scale up in complexity. And a lot of times can just seem like, hey, this is kind of like the farm boy to hero kind of journey or whatever it might be. And it gets more complex. People told me that about Full Metal Alchemist, and I can already see it in volume 2. So it's awesome.
Yeah, Dozer is struggling. We just woke him up from a nap. So
yeah,
he's got his like Stitch ears from Lilo and Stitch.
Well, we appreciate you guys. So he looks like Iggy. That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
We appreciate you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
We were so happy to be able to do this in person.
Awesome.
I'm glad that you were able to host this.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing even more production and ramping things up here and making this more quality for all you that check this out. So if you like the video, make sure to hit like. If you dislike, you can hit dislike. If you love it and it's your first time, subscribe. We have a huge playlist down in the description if you want to see all our other Berserk content. This is like, we've been doing this for like 9 or 10 months, and we're first time readers, but we're really getting into it and getting into the fandom, and we love it. And we love manga. Manga is really
great. I'm excited to go on this journey with.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It really is. So share this with your friends. If they like Berserk or manga and they want to see some first-time reader reactions, I would love to have them. We're trying to spread the word and get this thing to even be bigger. Yeah. So I would love for that to happen. But as always, Andrew, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. And chat, thank you for always being the third guest. And if you're watching after the fact, I also appreciate you giving this a view. And until we see you next time for volume 31, be good, be safe. Remember to always
keep turning the page.
That's right.